how would you know if you had an inner child? So I'm wondering, we talk about this as therapists quite a lot. Do we have an inner child? Are we protecting it? Are we minding it? Are you looking after your inner child? Does it actually really exist? And today's podcast, myself and Paul are going to talk a lot about inner child work, and also, I suppose, really about different types of inner child.
Do you know, it's a bit cliched. It's a bit cliched, I think, because you hear it a lot.
You do.
Your inner child.
It's like one of those buzzwords, isn't it, in therapy?
Yeah, but to me too, and I know both sides of it as a therapist, but then just listening to it, it's almost like there's this helpless inner you that has been done wrong by the world, and it's unfair. And that child is still looking for justice and is grieving.
Yeah.
Some of that can be true.
Yeah.
But we all have an inner child. I believe we do.
Yeah.
Not that I believe. We actually do. Whether it's an issue or a problem, or whether it's something that you can actually use.
I think I'm giddy enough to prove it anyway.
You are. You're very childlike in ways.
I like the bit of crack, lads.
Yeah. I used to suck my thumb until I was 10.
Really?
Yeah, even now that tongue is it's different from that one.
Oh my gosh, the shape is different.
It's soft, it's younger.
Yeah.
So if you want to stay young, suck your thumbs.
Right, moving
swiftly on.
Yes.
But your inner child is still current, whether you know about it or not. You're always reacting. I was observing somebody recently. And he was giving us a reaction to something. Somebody I know. It wasn't a client, wasn't in therapy. And I thought, that's the exact same as he was when he was a kid.
Wow.
When he was a kid.
Wow.
And it's just the same thing, the same attitude. He doesn't know.
Yeah, he's unaware, of course.
He's unaware,
yeah.
But he's still reacting with a childlike reaction to something.
Like a tantrum.
Even though he's framing it in adult words now.
Yeah.
But it's still that same child reaction that he had years and years ago.
God, that's class, isn't it?
I can see it.
Yeah.
But you can't. Yeah, adults do have tantrums, don't they?
Oh, definitely. In therapy as well, we often talk about. I often go along with my clients around, eco states therapy. We talk about it. So it's the different parts of your person.
Yeah.
It's you've not just got one voice talking to you in your head, and this isn't a schizophrenic thing. It's actually a thing that everybody has. We have conversations with ourselves. And it's like good angel, bad devil.
We did a video on that actually way back.
We did, yeah.
In her voice.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it was a good video, but the sound wasn't great.
I was good on it. I was really good.
One was brilliant.
I'm carrying her.
Oh my God.
But do you know that expression? You're standing on the shoulders of giants. You're building on the work that somebody else has done.
Yeah.
You are building and developing on the child that you were. And that isn't just a fixed point in your life. You've always been building on different versions of yourself. Yeah. So your current self has bound to have been influenced by the child that you were.
Yeah. And I suppose the adults in your life as well at the time.
Yes.
I think it takes everybody is an influence to the child. The teacher, the parents, the grandparents, brothers, sisters, friends, peers in school and everything. Everybody has an impact, I suppose, on your person on your inner child.
Isn't this where people pleasers maybe have developed that thing to please the adults and teachers? Yeah. And now as adults themselves, they're still conforming to that programming.
Yeah, but I would say it's like an addiction as well then to approval. Because if you're getting well done, that's a great job, well, that's brilliant, you're such a good kid, or you're such a hard worker, and then, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, you continue doing that. But then as an adult, that becomes maybe a bit overwhelming, and you realise that you're just not able to keep all these balls in the air, and they begin to drop, and that's where we come in, I suppose, as therapists then, to help people decipher what's going on.
Yeah. An example of how to prove in a way that you have an inner child is that have you ever a smell or something suddenly brings you right back to there you go. Apple tart, brown bread.
Best apple tart.
Yeah. Just brings you right back, and suddenly you're the kid again.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you didn't have to work at that memory. That memory was instantly available to you, even without the smell of apple tarts.
Yeah.
You were able to conjure it up in your mind and your imagination,
True,
and that was instantly accessible to you.
Yeah.
So all of the past, whether it's evoked through smells or through something somebody says, or meeting an old friend, all of those past emotions are still current.
Yeah.
Which is the thing. So when we joke about, adults having tantrums and we're grown-up babies, we're not really joking.
Who put that fucking thing down there? Put away your shoes. I nearly broke my neck over it. It's the truth though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You like freak out for nearly no reason, But it's as adults, we have so much going on, I think, in our heads. So sometimes you do have these like mini mad tantrums where you have this breakdown nearly for like a couple of minutes, and you're like, oh, sorry, I lost the head.
Some of us have those mad tantrums and like that. But that inner child, if that inner child is currently, that inner child was current last year, the year before, and right to it back. So when you think of the major things that you've been through in your life, the first time you fell in love, that inner child was there at that moment. When you got married, if you got married, if you had kids, when you bought your new car, whether you got your first proper job, that inner child was there. When you had your first row or fell out, or whether you got divorced, when you started drinking or drugs or whatever, that inner child was there for all of that. And you can imagine that you'd never bring a kid like on a drinking or a drug fueled session.
Jesus. Yeah.
But you're bringing your own inner self, and that person is reacting to everything that's gone before and to whatever else that you're dumping on them now.
Yeah.
And this kind of gets us to, I certainly believe that most people will carry a backlog of issues, and this is what causes them to be overreacting and have tantrums now.
Oh, definitely. They have not dealt with.
They haven't. So any little thing sets them off.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas people who have dealt with the stuff, they can be very calm and relaxed in a crisis.
Yeah. See, their emotional intelligence is higher. So what is the inner child? It's about your emotional intelligence growing, really, isn't it?
And I did say that inner child isn't necessarily fixed at any particular point, but for some people it is. It can be frozen, especially if you've had a trauma.
Oh yeah, trauma really freezes that there.
Yeah. And the person never evolves emotionally in regards to that trauma beyond that age. Yeah. Until they've done some work on themselves.
And you can have really bad triggers then as well. We the smell of the apple tart is a nice one, that's nice, but it could be a smell of a certain aftershave or something that could really trigger somebody into a really bad state of trauma and freeze or flight or fright.
Yeah.
It's terrible, really. So yeah, no, I think inner child work is important. I think people do need to work on it. And one of the things I show my clients actually is to put your hand, on your chest, near where your heart is, and just go, it's okay. Breathe deeply into that and just release. Let go any negative feelings or any bad feelings that you have inside, and just really try and care for yourself.
Well, I suppose it is self-care because, I did mention drink and drugs and other things, and sometimes that's how we administer to ourselves. Instead of self-care, we kind of, try to escape or even sometimes punish.
Isn't it?
Yeah, even overeating.
Osborne does this, he self-medicates. That's what Sharon says anyway.
Yeah. But I suppose we all do, don't we?
Yeah.
If you binge eat, if you
stop it.
That's self-medicating.
Yeah, definitely.
It changes how you feel.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say
No, I wasn't.
Now, what did that sound like to you guys?
That was a glitch.
Little comment down below there just to see what that sounded like. But it definitely does, because I know well that when I'm in an emotional state, I look for sweet things or crisps.
Chocolate.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I'd rather give up chocolate than drink any day.
Chocolate, in case you don't know, chocolate, cocaine and coffee.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Chocolate, cocaine and coffee are the three things that cross the barrier directly into your brain to have an instant effect on you.
Especially if you snort them up your nose. Stop watching
chocolate.
Nasty. Actually, there was a documentary saying about cheese as well. Remember I was saying this to you earlier?
Oh yeah.
Cheese has the same effect on your brain as heroin. So I've yet to see anyone that stoned on cheese.
Yeah, do you think would there be a kind of a black market for selling cheese on street corners?
Don't know. I don't know what kind of cheese that would have to be like.
Don't need them.
Weird.
Cheddar.
But I think it's all
I can do you a bit of cheddar. Very cheap.
Jesus Christ, imagine. A bit blue here. I'll meet you around the corner with it.
One of the techniques that I use in hypnotherapy, And hypnotherapy, again, we've recorded a video about hypnosis way back. Check it out. One of the things that I do is I get the person to regress, go back to the childhood memory that's caused the problem.
Yeah.
So something, say for example, public speaking.
Yeah.
If you're anything like me, I was the child in school. I'm a bit dyslexic, but I could never fathom spellings. I kind of recognise the shape of the words.
Yeah, me too.
But
weird.
Where those letters go and what sequence in the words is a bit. I really have to work at that. So I would have had the experience of the teacher bringing you up in front of the class.
Oh God, yeah.
To solve or write something on the board that you hadn't a clue, so you're dreading. And you're being made a laugh of, you're being mocked.
Yeah.
You might be crying. The teacher back in the day, like I used to mix up corporal and capital punishment.
Oh God.
So the teachers used to do capital punishment, say no, it's corporal. No, I think it's actually capital. Nearly went that far. But that traumatizes a child.
Yeah, very much so.
And the child then becomes very phobic or very sensitive to any environment where something like that is likely to happen. So what happens is 20, 30 years later, they find themselves in a work environment where they have to stand up in front of a group and do a PowerPoint presentation. And what happens? The inner child goes, it's the same as being in front of that class again. And that teacher, my boss, because the two of them, there's a crossover there, isn't it? An authority figure. Everybody's watching me. I better not mess up
I'm
this.
Look so stupid.
Yes, and what happens is your subconscious mind floods you with all the data and information it has about messing up and looking stupid, and your expectation of what way this is going to turn out based on previous experience, going right back to that school, and here presto becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you mess up, and then you become even more phobic about it the next time. So what I have somebody do in hypnosis is bring them back to that original experience in school and get them to intervene as an adult. So there's a child, and there's an adult, and the adult goes in, and I say, you do whatever you want to make the situation right. Sometimes they do kind of go, I get the teacher and I'll put them up against the wall and I say, how dare you do that to a child? Smack, smack, smack. More often than not, people will just verbally give out to the teacher, you know, and I get them to really let go. Instead of saying, please, you should not have done that, I say, no, really let them have it. You think of what's this done to you and how you've suffered with all these, and I get them to really emotional. Sometimes they start cursing, giving out or whatever.
I say to them, adult you stand up for your child now. Yeah.
And they get it out, and they get retribution, they get revenge, and their mind is able to move beyond that. And then I get them to imagine, well, what would you like it to be? Think of a time when you were, telling jokes to your best friend, sitting around or having a cup of tea or coffee, and everybody laughs.
Didn't go down like a lead balloon.
And then you get them to copy and paste that into a work scenario.
Lovely.
And it helps the inner child then grow up.
That's a bit like the NLP, you're kind of putting a better thing together.
You are. So you're breaking the old programming, the old inner child program, and installing new modern day ones. To me, it's like, I joke with clients sometimes. I'd say, like, it's like you're running an old computer system. It's like you're still running Windows 95.
Honest to God,
Could you imagine trying to run your life? You're on Windows 20, Windows 95 nowadays.
Yeah, no way.
No.
We do the same thing in EMDR actually as well, like, but trying to get people to, I suppose, go back into that situation and just rewrite it, So we have like negative cognition and then a positive cognition. So the negative cognition would obviously be, I'm bad at this, or, I'm stupid, or your negative thought about it. And then the positive is, I am actually really successful. Success. And then the evidence is always going to be there for success, isn't it, as well? Yeah. Because we're never all failures. We have successes and failures.
Yeah, as we're supposed to have.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that brings us to a conclusion. We're the Happy Headers. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care of your inner child, guys. Remember, lots of love, and we'll see you in the next one.